There we are.
Hi.
It's working now. Technology.
The first time I've ever run a Zoom, and I didn't realize because usually Becky does it for me, and I was like, oh, Becky's not even going to be there. Becky, how do I do it?
Yeah, I've never run one either. I'd be like, oh God, technology. But thankful for it though.
Yeah. You guys are looking very bright again.
Yes, we thought, well, we better come wearing our crochet.
Really nice pattern. Is it the potama pattern?
This is it's called a mosaic technique, and it's this Icelandic crocheter who I think is amazing. It's her designs, and actually the Icelandic designs are quite sort of similar. But it don't look too hard because I had mucked up the whole entire pattern because I got confused and because you've really got to pay attention. And I was just like, and then I don't even care. I'm just going to do my own thing because I've completely marked up the whole pattern. But they're really amazing. Like when you see her work, it's amazing that the whole mosaic technique is so cool. I love it. Yeah, I did this because I started this last year, but this took a long time. And so I started it and then I was over it. And then when the first lockdown happened, I was like, oh, yay, I'm going to finish this because I've got all the time to do it. So yeah, I finished it and I love it.
Locked away in the caravan.
Yep.
I see you're doing lots of stuff and lots of interviews. So today we're kind of going to run it not like an interview, but more like just a conversation. And because I don't understand the hosting system of the Zoom thing, so if people just come in, then we'll just like let them all kind of come into the conversation as people pop up. But at 11, I think it is, in about 9 minutes, people will join. But I'll just start off with maybe just introduce the show. And then I'll let you introduce yourself, and then I will just prompt with questions, and then and then we can talk for about 30 minutes to 40, and then question times because people always have questions and answers. And if anything is seeming a little too, because sometimes we get people that are trolls.
I can imagine.
Pardon me?
I said I can imagine.
Yeah, and then I just kind of just start shutting them down. But I try not to hang up on anyone because
we just mute them. Mute.
Yeah, mute.
The administrative mute.
Yeah. Mute. I'm hoping that it's just sort of good vibes today, but
yeah, it will be.
But we have actually discussed that. Okay, what if there are some, just what if there are some people saying that they don't like what we're doing, or I'm thinking of other Māori saying anything, but that's okay because we've discussed it, and we're just like, well, that's you can think, we just think, well, obviously people are going to think and feel about things how they're going to think and feel, and we're just doing our thing, and we're all good. So mute.
And I just wanted to let you know that there are a few people following that are from Creative New Zealand who will be online too, so it'll be a really good opportunity to pitch ideas or specific things, and just kind of maybe repeat some of their strategic outcomes, like quality arts, have people participate in the arts, especially maybe in the outside regions, just so they can kind of hear that. And we have mostly Pacific and Māori people that will be online.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many people are interested?
There's about 25.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's just, But what I'll get you to do is, if Lissy and Rudi, if you could just turn your video off and mute, and then we'll start exactly on 11 o'clock. Cool?
Got it.
See you then. Hi, Janene. Kia ora everyone. So as you're all starting to join the Zoom, I'm just in the gallery space at the moment. So I will be just showing some of the works before we begin our Zoom, and invite Lissy and Rudi to jump online at 11 o'clock. So feel free to have your cameras on or off. It'd be great to see everyone's faces, so to help the artists kind of in their conversations, but no pressure. But as before we start, just thought it would be nice to see some of their works. And I see we have a crocheter in the midst. I'm really lucky to be able to be here actually at the gallery. It was really full just a moment ago.
On YouTube, but it's even longer. Boss Bitch by Zoe Bell.
Okay, it's 11 o'clock. And I know we're going to have people drips and drabbing in, but we have Lissy and Rudi Robinson-Cole with us. And I'm currently sitting inside this space in their exhibition Ka Pua Waitia coming to fruition. Lissy and Rudi were really, really kind and generous and able to actually exhibit with us.
What's this?
Because we had a cancellation and all of a sudden I needed a spot and then visited them, and there were artists like Lissy and Rudi with a whole massive garage full of art. But as you can see, this is the larger piece of their works.
I want to eat my breakfast.
And just also, I just have to say that we are going to be recording the artist talk, and just so that other people have the ability to hear more of what they're going to be sharing. And if you have any kind of questions about that, you can email me after and we can share then. But I'm just going to let Lissy and Rudi introduce themselves.
Go first, Rudi.
Hey, kia ora, I'm Rudi. I grew up in a small country town, forest town in Tonguru Forest. On my mum's side, I come from Ngāti Pāua and in the Waikato, Ngāti Makirangi, Ngāti Kohua. And on my dad's side, I come from Te Arawa, Ngāti Tau, Ngāti Whāua, and also hail from the mighty Taranaki, Ngāruahine, Ngāti Tū. Kia ora.
Wow. That's a lot of places. Wow. Kia ora, everybody. I'm Lissy, and I whakapapa back to Ngāti Hine and Ngāti Kahu in the far north. My mum, that's my mum's side in our marae, Mototau and Karaponia is where where I whakapapa too. Much less than Rudi. And I tell you what, can I just say, everywhere we go, doesn't matter where we are, he'll know someone. There'll be a cousin, there'll be a friend, but I'm amazed. It doesn't matter where we are. We're in the middle of nowhere. He knows he'll meet someone that he knows.
Yeah.
Which is great. So, well, hey, thanks everyone for being here today.
Yeah.
This is so exciting. It's our first kind of Zoom thing. So we're really excited.
Yep. Thank
you, everyone. Just before we start the questions, could I get everyone just to mute their microphones, please? Just so that we don't have any interruptions while the artists are talking. And yes, thank you. And it's, yes, both of our first times doing an artist talk on Zoom, but it's a very virtual world right now. And so you either, grab it and move, or you just stay at home by yourself. Which we do anyway. But I kind of want to talk about first in regards to the work is we've had so many visitors at the show at Corbin's. It's been one of our highest attending shows ever, and we kept talking about this within our staff and the community. Why is that? Because we've had so much other beautiful work. We've had a lot of senior artists come through our space, but in this time, and I think in this context of a pandemic, joy is what everyone wants. And joy is the kind of theme running through Lissy and Rudi's work, which is so important in this time and moment. And also, the manifestation of crocheting is connecting. You're connecting pieces together. And I think just that as a metaphor in itself is helping to remind us as, humanity, that we are connected and that we can connect, if not in real person, online and in many ways. And crocheting that I've learned through you guys is has the ability to do that. And so do you want to just share a bit about why is joy so important to your work?
Thanks, Cora Ellen. I think for me, and then before I met Rudi and I have been together for 6 years, and before I knew Rudi, I had been, I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot of deaths in my family, a lot of, just quite a lot of trauma. And what I've learned from all of that was to just live the fullest, bestest life you can live, because Lord knows you don't know when it's going to be all over. And so I've had this really strong driving force for a long time to embrace life, be happy, and not be happy as much as you can, and express that gratitude and joy for life in that artistic way. And my dad was an amazing creative, and he taught me lots about the bigness of life and and relationships. To him were everything. The night before he died, he declared he had a revelation about the meaning of life, and the meaning of life was all about relationships. And so for me, the joy, our kaupapa of joy is really about the celebration and expressing that celebration of life. And the color we love to use is well, first of all, it brings me and Rudi joy. The color just makes my heart sing so much. I see color and my soul is joyful. And so that's why we use the colors we use as a start off. But Rudi, do you want to say something too about our kaupapa?
I think we're so just grateful to have this opportunity to be able to show our pieces at Corbin's. through your cancellation is just one of those
meant to be
things, eh? Yeah.
But in terms of joy,
yeah. I think a lot of people can relate to our work.
Yeah.
And it relates to people on all different levels.
Yeah.
And people are really feel like they can actually be a part of the work, and it's accessible, and and that sort of brings them joy as well, And I think that's
because it's, and also too, what I want to just say about the joy thing, and is, we've been really blessed to have had a lot of love in our lives from our whānau, and so I really feel so much that love that has been instilled in us is reflected back in our work. It's like our love letter to our loved ones, to the world, and to our loved ones, for the love that we've received is what we are kind of expressing and giving back, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I know, even just spending time with you both, that, because I remember someone like, is she really just that happy all the time? And I was like, yeah, she's just that happy. And because I have a friend.
Stephen, can I just say, I'm not this, I can have my down days.
Yeah. That's what I was like. We've had, because I remember when we had the workshop, you had a really bad sleep, and I was like, I think that's the first time I've never seen you not smile. And I was like, oh yeah, no, of course, she can't be happy all the time. But I have a friend who's really quite happy and giggly all the time, and so there is always that thing, that facade of like, maybe it's to cover stuff. But I like that when you talk about joy, is you're reminded about your whakapapa, and the joy that comes from our ancestors, and the joy that comes from knowledge, from sharing, from being Māori, from being born in Aotearoa, and being in this place. And so joy not necessarily being, these tangible things, and especially at the forefront of mātauranga Māori. We don't necessarily, especially with mahi toi, talk about joy a lot. There's other political conversation that goes on, of course, but that's what I think that I really like, because you talk about your father's work, Lissy, and how you've come kind of from his life and growing up with his experiences, and what parts of your father's practice really shine through in your art practice today, would you say?
I think it really, it is joy. It's funny because TV1 did a little thing, a little clip it on us last year, and when they aired it, they played a little clip it of an interview of Dad back in the 80s, and it was so wonderful, and he spoke about the joy of what he was doing and helping women feel absolutely beautiful in his garments, and he spoke about that real joy. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, Dad, you were so amazing. Him and I are very similar, and I often say to people, if you'd met my dad, you would understand me. You would understand me a lot. I think he just had such, joie de vivre. He was so big in his generosity, and big in the way he spoke and the way he lived. And I think that's, and when I create anything, no matter what it is, I feel him just beaming, just so happy that I'm expressing all of that internal stuff, being able to express it in a tangible way that brings me great happiness, and then for that to have a positive impact out there in the world.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get to meet Lissy's dad.
No.
But on that clip was the first time I actually heard his voice. And I'm like, hey, you sound like him, and was sort of like, and I could imagine that the energy that, that Lissy has, the passion for her work, would be exactly the same of what her dad would have had. Yeah. It can be so, so contagious, and then we, oh, yeah, let's go, yeah, let's do it, yeah, So, yeah, I could just imagine all that, and yeah, it's really cool.
And Rudi, for yourself, have there been other artists or anyone in your life that's inspired your creative journey?
I have been really lucky with working at the Māori Arts and Crafts Institute with Eugene Kara and Katara Maihi and Tony Thompson and all the the master carvers there, and I'm the type of person that sort of I pick up things here and there, and then I really sort of talk to them on, oh, how'd you do this, how'd you do that. So I've been really influenced through my everything that I do through my experience at the Māori Arts and Crafts Institute, and also early at an early age, attending St. Stephen's and seeing all the beautiful artwork there as well. So I would say Eugene Kara, Katara Maihi, definitely huge influences, and good bros to talk to as well.
Yeah, it's really important to have your art community with you, to have those people that help to not just guide you in what we do, but who are there as cheerleaders, and like on the opening night of the show, for those who weren't there, Lissy and Rudi had so much fun over here. The room was packed from the beginning. It was such a nice, warm feeling to just know that the show is so supported. And but Lissy and Rudi, why do you think so many people are coming through to see the show? Like, why do you think, because people are so surprised to see this crochet po, this wharenui in crochet and bright neon colors, but what do you think it's about your work?
Well, when we were making the pieces, we knew that nobody else was doing what we're doing, and when we first completed the big po, and we put them up, that was just like, wow.
In our garden.
In our garden, it's just like, yeah. And then we made them both. And that was
like double wow. That's double rainbow wow moment.
Yeah. And then we had our neighbours out their windows. Whoa, that looks me! Hey, look at that! Yeah. And our neighbours and his wife, and they're in their 80s.
Yeah.
So they're out the window. Wow, well done, boy! Too much koro. Hey, where'd it go? So yeah. And they're always looking over, hey, what are you guys doing? And then they'll see me with put a big gazebo, and Rudi's carving, and they're always out there and sort of asking questions, but they're really good support, our neighbours.
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
I think because we've asked that question too. It's like, wow, the response online has been amazing. Like 1 million messages of, we love it. Wow, it's uplifting. And Rudi and I mean, we knew that they were really special when we did them, but we had no idea the response would be like this. And so it's taken us by it's like, wow, amazing. I think the colorways, I think for just to start off, the colorways, I mean, the people respond to the colors. They're so bright. They're so joyful. And I think because they're quite large pieces, they're in your face, and so I think people respond to that. But I think like when we've been in the gallery a couple of times, and we've had like we had this really lovely lady come through, and she was having a really bad day, and she said that she'd come through to see the show earlier in the week, but she was just walking past and she needed to come in and get a dose of joy. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. And she said to us, your art is really accessible. And I think maybe again, that's, I don't know, I think it's the time. People want joy, people are looking to be uplifted, people are, you know, we're stuck in our homes, or we're, especially, you know, around the world and whatnot. I think too, you know, with what goes into our work, which is an immense amount of love. When we're creating our pieces, when we're physically creating our pieces, we're thinking all sorts of things. You know, we might be thinking about our whānau, we might be thinking about memories as we're making them. We're dreaming while we're doing it too. We're really excited about, you know, the future and what we're doing. And I think just all of that radiates out of them. And I think maybe too, that's what people are responding to, is the energy that's gone into the pieces is kind of reflected, and maybe that's what people are picking up on. Well, someone, and then this really, when we were there, a couple were there with their child, and he said to me, oh, it's like visual Prozac.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's so cool. Yeah, so I think there's a lot of reasons why people have responded. But it's amazing. Like, it's really blown us away. It's just blown us away.
I feel like there are actually too a lot more like closet crocheters out there too. Like, and there were like people that came, and those little kids that all brought their own crochet hooks, and they weren't normal hooks. They were like all metallic and shiny. And like, you know, and their parents came, and there were actually even some women who came without kids just to be a part of the workshop. And so it does open up to a whole other craft community, you know, and adding this form of craft into a gallery environment and talking about it in a way where it becomes, you know, elevated into this kind of fine arts thing. And then the combination of whakairo, of carving, and how kind of important that conversation is too, is that it not only combines those traditional elements, but it starts people too talking about contemporary Māori art and what that looks like now, and how we experience it, and the materials used to produce it. And in particular, like you said, we haven't seen crocheted po before. And so the effect of that has been rippling. And Lissy and Rudi, if some of you may have seen or heard some of the interviews, they've just been all over the show. People are so interested in just the different kinds of processes and how you work. But do you want to just share with people here today just how some of the processes you go through in designing maybe like the whiku or the shapes you'd decide to use? Because the whiku I'm always interested in, because they're like a series, but like, you know, you could have chosen any kind of shape in whakairo, but why particularly the whiku?
I think when I'm designing the whiku, I do have a base template, but you know, it's really when I actually start carving out the like the mouth, like around the tongue, it always comes out different. Like I'm always, you know, it's never going to be the same. You know, I might do a cut differently, you know, and that sort of dictates on how the tongue might come out. Sometimes we've got some kōrero that may come with a commission work, and then I'll work to that kōrero. And you know, having the difference around the eyebrows as well. So that sort of that may be different as well. All depend on the kōrero and how I'm actually carving the piece out. So it does differ each time. They're never ever going to be the same.
No. And I think too, with the different colours, you know, have their own meanings too, that will dictate too when we're thinking about the design of it, you know, to, you know, what are we trying to convey here with, like when we use green, that's representing Rudi's grandfather who, Turanga, who and he's representing, or our kaitiaki, for stability and like a rock like steadfastness in our practice. And so, yeah, we're thinking about all of those things when we come to design them.
And are there any particular tribal style carving that you choose, Rudi, or do you use styles of like how you're saying the eyebrow, like whether it's, you know, from different areas? Do you have like a particular one you use, or do you use your own?
Yeah, I do gravitate more towards the a Waikato hauraki style, and I do like the styles of the from Taranaki, you know, with the interweaving of the arms and so I really love that style as well. In our big po, I've sort of gone back to like it was from a style from the, you know, just on the side there. But I actually see that in Wharenui back in Taranaki as well.
And sorry for those who don't know, Lissy and Rudi's work is carved from polystyrene before it's crocheted and the work is slipped over the top. So sorry, just to add that in there. That's what he's carving. Yeah. And so the work is really light, and like one person can hold the po easily, which is really nice to be actually work at a scale, and so easy to install as well. But have you come across any troubles in your making though? Because, you know, it can't be smooth sailing. What are a few of the
water too things
that made it hard?
I think
learning how to crochet like in 3D, that wasn't easy. Going from crocheting flat things to having to go around things was a real
yeah.
how am I going to do this? That was really challenging, and it's still like everyone we do is it's always different. Jess, everyone is different. Yeah, thank you. It is a challenge. It is a challenge to be sculptural and make things go around. You know, form to the.
Cool. Sounds all good. Yeah, no, that's cool. Excellent. Thanks very much.
Sorry, Lissy. I think someone has their microphone off.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me that's been a kind of like one of the challenges anyway, of really having to get a grasp of how you start to really become sculptural. And yeah, that's I'm really interested to see. Yeah, I'm interested as that progresses, how, you know, the different kinds of shapes that we're going to start doing and the different kinds of forms. I'm really interested to see how we're going to progress our sculptural nature of what we're doing.
And what are some of the next plans for, like, in your practice? Because I know I've seen so many posts on Instagram and they're like those sneaky little peeks. But what's next for the whenui? We are developing, I mean, so Rudi has created a little scale maquette of the whare to give, and to start to really give an idea of what it could possibly look like. So everyone, we're focused, and we've got this vision of creating a fully realized crochet whare nui. It is, in my mind, amazing. Can I just say, it's going to be amazing. Rudi has designed an incredible design based on matariki. Wow.
and we're just really still at the researching and planning and thinking and consulting with others stage of the wharenui. But I think what's really awesome is, you know, we want as many hands as possible on our wharenui while we're making it. One of our goals and aims and dreams with the whare would be to travel elements of it around to different marae around. Well, first of all, we'd start with our marae, going to Rudi's marae and our marae up north, to do wānanga, day-long wānanga with our people, and, you know, and to get to share what it is that we're doing and to get input, and then to have crochet workshops and to have as many Māori and as many people as possible have with their hands in this whare. But even bigger than that, we want to collaborate with other crochet artists internationally. And we have interest from 3 so far internationally, which we're so excited about. And because we're really reflecting on what it means, what does home mean? And I think now is this time, you know, this was what we were thinking before COVID, but COVID has just brought it right into focus of home, belonging, connection, aroha, identity. And so we want to put on the world stage what home is from a te ao Māori point of view, the wharenui, and that, you know, a wharenui and this whare is, and whare nui for Māori are not just 4 walls and a roof, but every single aspect has a much deeper meaning, it's about feeling and belonging to that, belonging. And so what we're trying to do with this whare is to create a whare for all to feel and be a part of. That everyone can claim this wharenui harikoa, which is this house of joy. And I think with the tūpō that we've created, it's like this tiny little taster of what it could be. And we are so excited as we are planning and researching and drawing, and with the model, like, was so exciting when I saw that. I was like, it's like, oh, it's so, I can see it. Yes, it's all slowly, very slowly making its way from the intangible dream time to the real. And you want to say something about that, Rudi?
First of all, you know, I really love crocheting 3-dimensional. I just love it that, you know, that I can form a shape that actually fits into our crochet, our polystyrene molds, and you know, I really love that. And then, hey, oh, that looks beautiful, and then, you know, just sort of keep on going. But I just feel so privileged to, you know, to be able to think of this, and also to be able to action it, and be a positive influence to a lot of other people, and just meeting a lot of other people. Like earlier on this week, we did a bit of a road trip, meeting other, like, crochet artists, you know, down in Tauranga. Very exciting. And that was a really exciting trip for us. And it was so that, you know, and Kate was, you know, just working from home, and she loved our visit, and you know, she could actually get time to talk about crochet with someone else, and the work that she does. And then, you know, that gave her that extra, you know, extra oomph to, you know, bit of inspiration in her work. So I really enjoyed our visit, and we could see us doing that more all around the motu.
I also think too, like, Rudi's been working in the prisons, in Mount Eden prison, doing crochet workshops, with awesome, Charlene, you keep smiling. With Rudi has found that super powerful. And I think this is I think too, going back to why are people responding to this, there is just something magical about being together. You're using your hands, you're creating something, it's bright, it's colorful, you're talking to each other. And while you're doing things, you know, it's amazing what people reveal when they're just sitting around crocheting or doing any kind of handicraft. It's a really powerful way to connect people. And I think, you know, we've done workshops in Otahuhu and around our schools, and you know, it really is just quite amazing. And maybe it's just a time for it, I don't know. But I think with us and what we're doing with our art practice and the thought of the wharenui and really connecting as many people as we can to the making of it, I think is really, really important for us. And the work that Rudi's doing in the prison is, we can see in the future potential big projects that we would love to do with the prisons. You know, we have so much aroha for our people who are in prison. There are so many of us in our prisons, especially Māori women. And so there is a lot of work that we would love to do in that space as well, to bring our kaupapa of joy, if we can, to our people who are incarcerated. But, you know, but to everyone really, to just not just Māori, not just incarcerated, but just everybody. Yeah.
I think that's what that's what crafts and not just hobbies, but that's what things that you can do at home does too, right? Like, you know, I know someone who was making a chain with old bread tags, and like, you know, like we all have this ability to make at home during this time, whether it's with old plastic bags or, you know, crocheting or knitting. And I know we have Alison Milne here as well, who's probably been keeping her hands busy because, you know, with the graffiti bombers and stuff. And so I feel like even just in the Zoom, you know, I can see busy hands moving as we talk now. And so it's like, you know, this constant way to not just keep ourselves connected to each other, but also distracted from what's going on, but in a feel-good way. And I know myself as an artist that, you know, I make a lot at home, and so my studio's, well, when I say studio, my stuff bursts around the house, you know, the kitchen table, you know, the living room, and my partner Daniel, the next house we moved in, he's like, you're not allowed on the kitchen table, no more kitchen table. Because it's, you know, I've got little ink stains everywhere, but I was like, but you know, that's like my new table. And so we kind of have this kind of time has allowed us to, I feel like we're reclaiming spaces of our home to make and to create and to do what we need to do to get through this time. And so like you were talking about your work going to different areas of the Aotearoa, which I think is really important, because if you're in Auckland and Wellington, you have a lot of access, or even Tauranga, you know, the bigger cities, you have access to arts. But if you're in, you know, a town like Te Aroha, or if, you know, at the top of the North Island, you might not get that. And so your project is really important in that aspect if it can travel. And Lissy and Rudi have this beautiful caravan that she sits in and does lots of work. But, you know, just having a space that can be movable, that can be taken to other places is awesome. And yes, and Great Barrier would be great.
Yes. Yes. I've never been to Great Barrier. Would love to go to Great Barrier.
Exactly. And that's why it's important for these kinds of conversations, because, you know, if you feel like you could host a workshop or something in your community, throw an invite to Lissy and Rudi, because that's what the kaupapa of their practice is about. And just listening to you, Lissy, it does remind me of that continual community effect that your work has. And the most memorable part of this exhibition for me has been, there was this young girl at the workshop who could crochet like a master. Yes. She was like, blew us away, and she started teaching other people, and she was like 8 or something. And so having this young girl come in and feel like, oh, these are my people, like, you know, and her mum was like, are we really here to crochet? So even parents thinking, you know, like being so surprised that this isn't an art gallery. And so, you know, having your exhibition more and more, and if there's anyone online working from the Auckland Art Gallery, it could be a great place to show the wharenui at the end.
Yes.
You know, because that's the thing is finding spaces to show your work, which if you're an artist online, that's, you know, it's not the easiest thing to do. And so we're so grateful to be able to show just the beginnings of the wharenui harekoa. And so if you've been to the show and you've just seen the po and the whiku and the manaia that are up at the moment, that's just the taste. So imagine like the full mouthful. And I can't wait for it. And I know that you have, I've actually seen your shelf on an Instagram post of all your stocked woolen stuff. I'm very impressed, by the way, of how organized you are.
That's Rudi. That's Rudi.
Good.
And so just knowing too, like, you know, I know that you both haven't been full-time artists for very long, but knowing that you've come on board, this is your vision, this is what you want to do, you've got yourself organized, you're starting to sketch up your dreams, you're starting to live your dreams, and you know that you're blessed to do that. You know, you're not walking in this way where, you know, you're just grateful all the way through, which I think is always really important to kind of be reminded as an artist. But I just wanted to ask you before I'm going to throw it open for questions to people. What is your biggest aspiration with your work to do, like individually? What would you like your work to do?
I think if it can add to humanity in a positive way, then job done. It's then, you know, if I was to die today or tomorrow, I would die really happy knowing that we were able to put something into the world that was uplifting, beautiful, joyful, and maybe made someone think about things differently, look at the world differently, think about Māori differently, and just see that, you know, that being Māori is not just one thing, and Māori art isn't just one thing, it's many things, because we are many things. We are so multifaceted. And looking at Māori Marsden's book, The Woven Universe, he speaks, he's our whanaunga, he's actually buried up at Karaponia, he's my whanaunga, and he talks about this authenticity, that the greatest thing in this world is, especially as Māori, is to be true to yourself. And he basically says that, he says we are many things, and it is to know what that truth is for yourself and to live it, and that is the greatest joy that there is to be had in this life. And so when I read that, I was like, wow. And I've only just read that, and it was like, wow, that is like that affirmation from our tūpuna, that we're on the right track, and that we're going in the right direction, and to keep going. You know, I loved that. It's that real, it is a real gift to know that we do have the blessing of our tūpuna and what we're doing, and that's all we need to know. And so I think for me, as my aspirations are just to continue doing what we're doing with as much aroha as we can muster in everything that we do, and to really also provide a springboard and a platform for our whānau to follow along, and to have, you know, to be able to help our whānau to reach their aspirations through what we're doing as well. We want to bring as many whānau on as possible, so that we can all together and go forth and conquer, and, you know, be our authentic selves, have the permission to be our authentic selves, no matter what that looks like. Yeah, Rudi?
Yeah, what she said. Whoa, that was me. But yeah, I think for me it's just to you know, meeting as many wonderful people, and making those connections, you know, and also making those connections to our tamariki, you know,
Like we were saying before.
yeah, and just you know, yeah, I think that's all it for me, and just enjoying what we do, and yeah, just doing a good job of it. So yeah.
These are so funny. Every time I see them, they've got a new piece of crochet on their body. Like, she just wraps up her conversation with her. Really made work. But that it's really, I think that's the most powerful thing along our journeys as artists, is to continue remembering the things we aspire for, and not just make work to make work, but, you know, or to, like, I feel like a lot of artists are trying to get into exhibitions, but, you know, I think a lot of the time we forget that, yeah, the reasoning behind our work. And because Lissy and Rudi, I found them, and the timing was perfect. They didn't come to me. And so, and the first moment I met them and saw their work, it just clicked in my head. I was like, yes. And I was like, and it was funny because I went home to my partner and I said, Daniel, you won't even believe what I just saw. And they don't even know how good they are. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, I showed him this photo. He's like, and they don't know they're good. And I was like, I don't think they know how good they are. And it was just this, like, you know, bright moment. And because I feel as a curator, I really like to pick artists who not go to win things, but, like, you know, to really have good exhibitions at Corbin's. And in the last few years, I've been able to, like, pick quite a few winners and stuff. And really, yes. But, you know, and, like, that they're nice people, even bigger win for me, because, you know, being able to work in the arts with people who are genuine, who care for other people, who are fun and who are nice, you know, it's few and far between, to sadly say. But it's, yeah, I know we're all, as people are, yeah, but, you know, it's the arts and that's the world. But actually, I've got one more question before we throw it to anyone else. If you could visit anywhere and have a workshop anywhere in Aotearoa, where would it be?
Oh, my life.
Oh,
I don't know.
I think the hardest place for me would, you know, we are trying to get back home to Kaingaroa. You know, that would be my you know, dream, to actually go back home and, you know, and do my workshop back home.
Yeah.
And you know, and reconnect, because you know, I've still got a lot of family there, and just reconnect back, you know, through my art. So and who knows what will happen from there for whoever partakes, you know. So yeah,
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, definitely going back to our respective marae, and up at the Cape, you know, at you know, up at Te Rerenga, just to, you know, our Pohitakawa, you know, it tells of the journey of you know, as our spirits leap off the end there into the underworld. I think that could be a really beautiful. Oh, I got the shivers thinking about that. Look, goosies. Oh, goosies. Oh, we're going to get there one day. I think that's saying, yeah, you're going to get there. I think, man, imagine doing a beautiful crochet workshop up there, right on the cliff there, on the grass. You can sit around as those as the two waters converge, and as we think about that journey and that leaping off point. Again, goosies. Oh, I think it's going to happen. Oh, I only just thought of it just then. What a great question, Cora Ellen.
You're welcome.
Yes, you'll have to come to that one, or whoever. Everyone can come, but yeah.
You're all invited, so you know that happens. Don't worry about invite. Just make your way up.
Just, yeah, get on the joy train and get yourself up there. Oh yes, okay.
I'm going to throw it to we have a few minutes for a couple of questions. So if anyone wants to ask a question, please just kind of wave out, and then we'll know if anyone wants to kind of ask them any questions. Oh yeah, Alison.
Kia ora, Alison.
Kia ora. Thank you both very much for bringing crochet out from the domestic scene into the art scene, into the public. I think that's absolutely brilliant, and you've you've struck home base with all that, with the combination of colour, textiles, and being in an art gallery. You've done so much for the textile arts, I tell you. One thing I do like to know though, what kind of yarn are you using?
What a crochet question.
We use we kind of use whatever we can get our hands on, whatever I can get my hands on in terms of the neon. And mostly though it is acrylic yarn, and I just actually did buy some woolen neon. I didn't actually know that the neon came in the wool, but I just bought some wool neon yarn, but mostly I have to say it is acrylic.
Can I say that if you're going to show your work outside, that stick with the acrylic, because wool doesn't last quite as long in the public. So that's my 2 cents worth to you. But I loved your show. Thank you very, very much.
Oh, thank you so much, Alison. We really appreciate that.
And Alison, she says it's 2 cents. It's probably worth a lot more cents because Alison has a lot of experience with outdoor crochet and is part of a group, Graffiti Bombers, who do like large scale stuff. And so if there are kind of like questions that you have about outdoor things, she would definitely be someone to ask. So thank you, Alison. Is there anyone who has any questions?
Pony McTate.
Oh.
Kia ora.
Hello.
Hey.
Thanks for doing this, Lissy and Rudi. It's been so lovely to listen to you and really get insight into what you guys have been doing, so I appreciate that. I've got another crochet-based question, so I'm sorry if people are here for the art side of things, but I want to hear some more about the crochet. Did you learn recently, or have you always both grown up with crochet, or is it something that you had to teach yourself? How did you come to it?
I discovered crochet about 4 years ago, and I actually don't remember how, but I went to Spotlight. I bought a hook, some yarn. I must have seen something online, probably what happened. I probably saw something like this and went, oh, amazing. Oh, why don't I give it a go? And then I learned on YouTube. I just jumped on YouTube and I found YouTube a really great way to learn because I could stop, rewind. And I had to do that initially. It was like really like, oh my God, what is this? It was a hot mess of stitches, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing or looking at. And my very first sort of blanket made up of squares, I just called my Willy Wonka blanket, because I could not for the life of me make my squares be perfectly. Honestly, I would watch that video, I would do exactly what they were saying, and I just cannot. I'm not a perfect. I can't make perfect squares. I just can't, because I lose count and my mind goes wandering, and then I'm going, oh, what am I supposed to be doing? Oh well, we'll just keep going. And what really changed, was a real game changer for me in terms of yarn bombing and crocheting, was discovering London Kay, American-based yarn bomber. She's like the rock star of yarn bombing. When I saw her, it changed everything for me. I just was immediately like, oh my gosh, crochet doesn't have to be perfect. It can be free and joyful the way she was doing it. And that was a massive inspiration for me. And can I just say, I'm putting it out just now, that she has actually confirmed that she would like to also collaborate in terms of creating the wharenui. Can I just say that? I haven't said that out loud yet, but she's actually confirmed it, and she's like amazing. Yep. And she's going to be one of our international contributors.
Yes.
Like amazing. Yeah. So so that's how I learned.
I basically, a lot of things was Lissy was getting really busy, and and then I basically
was made to learn.
But I really love it because I'm an engineer in background, so I love everything being perfect. Okay, yeah, I can even measure out on my tape measure how many stitches I need to fill a space.
He gets his ruler out.
Yes, I know how many stitches exactly, and so I can choice. So but I really enjoy just everything that we're doing. and it's just the act of crochet. You know, it's amazing what you can learn from our hook and our yarn. It's amazing what you can learn about a person, eh? So yeah.
Thank you. We have time for one more question, if there's another question there.
Yeah. Kia ora, Kath.
Oh,
And Charlene.
Kath?
There we go. Hi.
Oh, kia ora, Kath.
Oh, this is so exciting to meet you guys.
Oh,
Yeah, it's quite emotional actually.
Kia ora, Kath. Big hugs.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I just want to say thank you for just all the joy and the colour.
oh, kia ora.
Sorry, this is a real surprise to me.
Oh, okay. I come from a family of criers.
Oh, I'm sorry. What you were saying about your experience of loss, and finding that joy and committing your life to, you know, this is what's important. You just need to use every minute of what's left of your life to do, you know, beautiful, joyful, colourful, artistic things is really resonated with me. My dad passed away during lockdown 4, so we couldn't be with him. And I think I discovered your work around the same time. So I just want you to know that, yeah, discovering your work has just really made a huge, like, you'll never know what effect your work has on people most of the time. And I noticed after that colour started creeping back into my work. So I just want to really thank you.
Oh, thank you for sharing that with us. What a beautiful privilege, and isn't this what it's all about, eh?
Yeah, yeah. And just, you know, the potential of what this can do for people's lives, particularly older people, who, you know, I've had older people say to me, oh, I'm not an artist. Oh, but I can crochet and knit, but, you know, I'm not an artist. And I'm going, oh my gosh, you can crochet and knit? I can't do that for nuts. Just the potential of what this can do to enrich people's lives of all ages in the future, you know, helping with your wharenui project and whatever other projects come out of that. I mean, I just think it's just endless. And I would love to walk into a wharenui that's completely made of your work. I just think that would be one of the best things that you could ever see in Aotearoa. You know, I just think it's going to be, it's just marvellous. So I just want to say thank you, and I'm so excited about the future for you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow, that's amazing, and thank you so much for sharing. Thank you.
It's I think that too, you know, is a real reminder too for just all of us, you know, the impacts of what we do, and especially during this time, and being able to connect in these ways is, yeah, what a privilege. And thank you for sharing, Kath, because, you know, you're not alone in that experience. And, you know, if we can kind of come into these places and just share those moments, and also, you know, find joy in artists like Lissy and Rudi, you know, it's really nice to be able to just share that joy and to take a moment to be grateful about what's going on and to be alive. And for those who are online who have experienced loss too during lockdown, you know, our aroha goes out to all of you. And I think that's what art's about, always reaching people, connecting, being what people need in the time that they need it. And thank you, Lissy and Rudi, for being that for many of us during this time, and for surprising me with the amount of work you have. And for those who don't know too, you know, Lissy and Rudi came with a trailer load full of art, a trailer, and half of the work isn't even on show. And so I definitely recommend following their art journey and just waiting to see what else comes from this. And I definitely will be following you, continue following you on Instagram, Lissy and Rudi, and I hope everyone else does. But just thank you on behalf of everyone for coming today to the Zoom and for letting us talk to you all in your homes. You know, as unusual as this is, but thank you for far and wide from the Great Barrier as well. Really awesome. And Lissy and Rudi, do you have anything that you want to just say to end the conversation?
Yeah, yeah, what a humbling, beautiful thing, and I just want to thank everybody, and especially for Corbyn's. Thank you, Cora Allen, for reaching out. It really was obviously a real meant to be thing. You know, Rudi and I are very, very, very have a huge and strong faith in this journey that we're on. It is totally faith based. It's faith led. We go where we feel we're called to go, and when the opportunity, I'm all about jumping on opportunity trains. And so when Cora Allen's train pulled into our station, it was like, yeah, we're on board. I didn't think we had anything to show. I was like, well, you know, we've got a couple of things we've made, but yeah, we're on. Yep, we'll go. Well, let's go. Let's do this. And so we're just so grateful. And we hope to meet. You know, it'd be wonderful to be able to do these things in person again one day, because it's so much nicer when it's a face-to-face, and we can share that energy of each other. But yeah, I would just like to say thank you so much for taking your precious time, because that's all we've got. And if we can inspire and uplift people, then that fills our hearts. And I think thank you, Cora Allen, and you know, also thank you to Creative New Zealand, you know, for allowing us to have this time to be able to research and have a research something, you know, a good kaupapa. Yeah, you know, good solid kaupapa for what's coming up next. So that's so awesome. But thank you all you beautiful people. And, for joining us. I'm pretty blown away. So yeah, that's awesome. Aroha, much aroha from us to you all. Yeah, and you know, Kath, thank you very much. You know, I had my niece's husband or niece's partner just passed away also in the COVID, so I was able to, you know, just give back to her. Made her a nice blanket because she's also expecting a new baby. So, you know, just those little things that you put out to your whānau. So, ngā mihi. Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for coming. Hopefully Zoom again soon.
Kia ora. Kia ora. Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, and our website's www.lissy.com if you want to get in touch. Or, you know, Insta, Facebook. Ka kite, everybody.
Ka kite.